Alright, this morning's run. We're gonna start off in King West. Haven't decided yet if we're gonna go through East Harbour or Yorkville. It's a beautiful day, so let's see where these babies take me. I mean, these babies like to speak me. Okay. So I started off from Front and Bathurst, heading east to the Bento de Luz Bridge. This is the bridge that actually cuts through from Front Street, and it takes you to the Iceboat Terrace. Actually, here you can get some pretty great views of the CN Tower and the railway. This trail leads you to the Rogers Centre and to the CN Tower, so that's a pretty good site to run through. But I'm now making my way to the Waterfront Trail. This is a great view here. And I'm going to be cutting through to the Roundhouse Park, which is here. So this is the Harbour Front Centre, just off the Queen's Quay and York. And we're going to be heading east through the waterfront pedestrian area, running through Harbour Square Park. So this is Harbour Square Park. It was a really nice day that I went on, so... So this is now the Water's Edge Promenade, because these waterfronts go in and out and in and out. But this is the Water's Edge Promenade between Jarvis and Merchant Wharf, and this is where Sugar Beach is located. So you can see here, walking through Sugar Beach. So now we're headed east, and we're going to continue on the Martin Goodman Trail, and that was the underside of the Gardner from here. Now we made it to Cherry Street, and we're heading south to the Lower Donlands, and this is where we're going to see a lot of infrastructure here that is taking place. That's a lot of bridges and paths. This is all to make way for Toronto's East End Harbour Front revitalization, which is going to be a huge master plan community with residential condos, offices, shops, and retail, and all that stuff. The best thing that Toronto or any city could do is always work on the infrastructure first. Obviously, when they do the city planning, when a lot of the areas and neighborhoods got redeveloped, obviously because they're so old, you have to work around that. But when you have vacant land, like the West Donlands or the East Harbour, it's easy to do the infrastructure first, like Canary Commons, which was the West Donlands. Now it's just a beautiful Corktown district area, and then you have the East Harbour, which is getting ready for the East Harbour revitalization. This is like putting the infrastructure in place first, which is perfect. And then we're gonna get a nice view of the Toronto skyline at some point. The East End has a lot of industrial spaces. That's why you see a lot of construction trucks here, tractor trailers. But the East End is also known for Toronto's film studios, and we're actually going to be passing by the Toronto Pinewood Studios very soon. I'll let you know when we pass by it. This is it right here. This is the Pinewood Studios in Toronto. It's huge. Alright, at this point, we're going to continue. We're going to skip Cherry Beach, but we are going to continue a little bit more east on Commissioner Street. And then we're going to make our way to Tommy Thompson Bay, which means we're going to get actually a nice view of not only the Toronto skyline, but the Toronto Island, Center Island, that's in front of that, because Tommy Thompson Bay has a view of both. So that'll be really nice. Too bad it wasn't sunset, but that'll be another run then. Okay, that means this run is even longer. Thanks. So we finally made it. So here we are, we're on Commissioner Street and Leslie Street, and we're heading south on Leslie Street, heading into the Tommy Thompson Park entrance from here. So this is the entrance to Tommy Thompson Park. So just so you know, interesting fact. It's not really a fact. I mean, I guess so. This is preserved area for a lot of Toronto's wildlife. As a matter of fact, I got hit by a bird. And I understand I'm in his territory, so I'm not gonna argue with that guy, but whatever. Just an FYI, Tommy Thompson Park is 5 kilometers long. This is a man-made peninsula and home to Toronto's wildlife, and for that reason, no dogs are allowed on these trails or in this area. They do have a bird research area here. This is what they do here. So if you're into bird watching, this is actually a great place for you to come do that. This is where we start seeing some great skyline views of Toronto and the center island. And apart from the paved road that leads you to the edge of the peninsula, there are a few lookout points and some side nature trails that you can take. And there's even some parts where you can like come off to the edge and put your feet into Lake Ontario, like right here. I took a nice side trail here. It was really, really pretty. Not that many people on it. This isn't a heavily trafficked area. I think it's out of reach for a lot of people. It's a long peninsula. You really have to come a little bit more east and out of the way to get here, but it's well worth it because it's not really congested with a lot of people. So this was pretty cool. This entire peninsula has like 3 parts to it, but I'm on the center part that leads you to the Lighthouse, and right here, this peninsula here kind of breaks, and there's a cute little floating bridge. This is probably one of the most incredible views you can get of Toronto. Honestly, this was genius, whoever had this vision to put this bridge here, and obviously because this is man-made, you have to have vision. I think the location of this bridge is very significant. I would love to come do some nighttime shots here for sure. Look at this view, and the water was crystal clear. So again, we're coming up the path. We're beyond the floating bridge. There's a few more lookouts, and we're actually almost to the edge here. So here we are. We're finally getting to the last part of the trail that leads you to the Lighthouse, and this right here is taking you up to the Toronto Harbour Lighthouse. Honestly, this is a landmark site, and it was a little bit disappointing on how this has been preserved. I'm not saying this has to be some sort of, grand site, but recently I was in Montreal, and I went all the way to the tip of the Revitalization Park, which is what this reminded me of, to be honest. And honestly, all this needs is maybe just to be finished off nicely. A paved path for, bikes and walking, and some grass and benches. Like, that's it. But because the edge kind of just looked a little bit grungy, but I know that when I was walking through the peninsula, there were some workers working on site, so I know it's not that easy to be bringing in trucks here, but I'm hoping that's something that they would do in the future, because this part here, it was a little disappointing to, I guess, see this. If this is man-made, that's what I'm saying. If this was natural, I understand it, but this is man-made, so it's kind of like it's a little bit unfinished. I should have, probably done myself a favor and see if that was in the works, but since the east end is getting a whole revitalization, so I'm assuming that
Center
is
Island.
part of it. So here's some great shots, here's some great views.
That's Center Island. Tommy Thompson.
But all this to say, the views are worth it. This was a great trail to walk on. Remember, it's a total of 10 kilometers, so it's 5 kilometers from the entrance to the edge of the lighthouse, and then you got to go all the way back. You can do this on foot, or they do even have the bikes. You can come on with your own personal bike, or they have the bikes out there in the front that you can rent to come through here. But the views are worth it. Definitely come check this out. And that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed this tour. My name is Doriana. I'm out of here.